Hello class, welcome. On the onset of online learning platform, today we will study class 7th history chapter number 3rd, the Delhi Sultans, and in this chapter the subtopics which we are going to read, the topics are the rulers of Delhi, finding out about the Delhi Sultans, the circle of justice, birthright, gender distinction. So come on the chapter and start the chapter which we are going to study. In chapter 2nd, we saw that the regions like the Kaveri Delta, which is in Tamil Nadu, was very famous because it was a fertile land, and on that time Delhi was not popular. Understand? So come on the chapter, we can know it better in this chapter. Delhi first became the capital of kingdom under the Tomra Rajput, who were defeated in the middle of the 12th century by the Chauhans, also referred as Chahmanas of Ajmer. So in the sense that in the middle of 12th century, the Chauhans, who were known as Chahmanas of Ajmer, who belongs to which dynasty? The Rajputa dynasty, in early 12th century from 11 till 1165. On that time, it became popular, Chahmanas of Ajmer. It was under the Tomras and Chahmanas that Delhi became an important commercial center. Many rich merchants lived in the city and constructed several temples. And in Delhi, coins minted. There was a popular coin which is known as Dehli Wal. Sorry, I am writing here because space is not enough. Dehli Wal, which was in wide circulation, it was used in Delhi Sultanate. Understand? The transformation of Delhi into a capital that controlled vast area of the subcontinent. When Delhi had become so popular in the subcontinent, what do you mean by the term subcontinent? Subcontinent means the countries which are connected to India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Bangladesh. These are the part of subcontinent. So Delhi became of the subcontinent started between the foundation of Delhi Sultanate in the beginning of the 13th century. It means that in the 13th century, Delhi became popular during Khalji dynasty. And who was the prominent ruler, king in the Khalji dynasty? Alauddin Khalji, who was very powerful, and during that time Delhi became powerful. And it had extended the reign in subcontinent. Understand? After that, the Delhi Sultans built many cities in the area that we now know as Delhi. Suppose that earlier time, in Delhi there were many cities that were Delhi, Aikunha, Siri and Jahanpana. But today all are known as only Delhi. Understand? All these are the part of Delhi. Come on here. The second subtopic which we are going to read here, the rulers of Delhi. And the rulers of Delhi means that in Delhi Sultanate, these 6 dynasties which ruled over Delhi prominently. So first one is Rajputa dynasty, early 12th century till 1165, and Tomraj, Anangpala Chauhans, and Prithviraj Chauhan was the most prominent king of the dynasty. Second one is early Turkish rulers. The time from 1206 to 1290. Who are the rulers? Qutbuddin Aibak, Samsuddin, Iltutmish, Razia, Ghiyasuddin Balban. And we know that Razia was first women ruler, we can say it. After that, Khalji dynasty from the realm, the time period from 1290 to 1320. Understand? And Jalaluddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. And Alauddin Khalji was the prominent ruler who expanded his territory all over India and the subcontinent. Understand? Afterward, Tughlaq dynasty. Which dynasty is prominent? Tughlaq dynasty. The time from 1320 to 1414. Understand? And who was most popular ruler of the dynasty? Muhammad Tughlaq. Understand? Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, but Muhammad Tughlaq was more powerful because Muhammad Tughlaq and Alauddin Khalji, both of the rulers, they have extended their territory not only India but also abroad India to the subcontinent. Understand? Afterwards, Sayyid dynasty, and last one is Lodi dynasty. Sayyid dynasty, the time is 1440 to 1451, and last one is Lodi dynasty, 1451 to 1526. Understand? So these are the dynasties who ruled over Delhi. After that, we are going to read the subtopics, finding out about the Delhi Sultans. How to find out about Delhi Sultans? There are a lot of resources. The resources are architecture, means we can find out from the buildings, coins, inscriptions which are written on hard surface metal, stone. Understand? And after that, the two resources were very popular during that time, and these resources were Tarikh and Tawarikh. These are the histories, that are the manuscripts that are written by Tarikh and Tawarikh. We can know about the Delhi Sultans. Understand? One is Tarikh, means singular, and second is Tawarikh, means plural. Understand? These are two resources, Tarikh and Tawarikh. Tawarikh means these are the histories that are written by singular one, and Tawarikh that was written means plural, that is that these two were written in Persian language. Understand? The administration under as Delhi Sultan. These are the histories, these two histories providing the knowledge about the Delhi Sultans we can know about by these two historiographies, we can say it. Understand? So we know that the writer of Tawarikh were learned man, secretaries of the king, administrators, means who were giving advice to the kings on administration, poets and courtiers. The sense plural means that most of the people were indulged to provide advice to the king for governance. Governance means how to run the administration, and what is emphasizing the importance of just rule. And they were also advising the people who were secretaries, poets, courtiers, administrators. They were advising the king how to run the government, how to control the territory. They also provide him advice who both recounted events. They were providing the details of the events. They were advising the rulers as governance, emphasizing the importance of just rule. Tariq singular and Tawarik is plural. And Tariq and Tawarik, these two were written in which language? Persian. These were written in Persian language. Understand? And Persian language was the administrative language in Delhi Sultanate. Understand? After that, we are going to read the subtopic, the Circle of Justice. In the Circle of Justice, it was said that there was a chronicler. Chronicler means there is a one term, chronicler. Chronicler means the person chronicler, a person who writes about history. So here we are getting that Fakhr-e-Mudabbir, a chronicler in 13th century, according to him, what is important? The circle of justice, how to judge, how to provide justice to the courtiers, to the people, to the subject of the ruler. And we know that it is said by the chronicler Fakhr-e-Mudabbir, what was said by him, that a king can't survive without soldiers. Means that a king can't live without soldiers, and soldiers can't live without salaries. And how salaries will come? Salaries will come from the revenue from the peasants. Peasants means farmer. But peasants can pay the revenue when they are prosperous. They will be happy, and this will be happen when then king promotes justice and honest government. Means that when the king will be just, honest, then it will be possible that, what will be possible? The possibility is that there will be happiness in the kingdom. Understand? So these are the terms which we have read here. After that, we are going to read, and we know that the writer of Tawarik, we are getting that the authors of Tawarik, they were living in cities as well as they were living in, the writer of Tawarik, the authors of Tawarik, they were living in city as well as in villages. But rarely they were living in villages, they were mostly living in city. Understand? And they often wrote their histories the authors of the Tawariq, they were writing only on the purpose for sultans in the hope of rich rewards, that they would get more reward. And they were also advising rulers on the need of preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. Here is the two terms, birthright and gender distinctions. Birthright means that it is commonly said on that time, it was privileged that if the person is any person who has been born in a Brahmin family, who will be Brahmin, who will get the post of Brahmin. And if the, suppose that we can take another example. For example, the nobles which inherited their rights to govern because they were born in certain families. Nobles who were under the king, and their son will be successor on the same post. Suppose that any noble is on the post of land revenue department. Suppose that I am giving the example, or the prime minister of the king, the minister of king. Then the son of the noble will also be on the same post. It is said, it is birthright. It was given. The term is that privilege claimed on account of birth. For example, people believe that nobles inherited their rights to govern because they were born certain families. Understand? And second term is gender distinction. Gender distinction, it means that it was on that time, according to the law, social and biological differences between women and men. Usually these differences are used to argue that men are superior to men. Gender distinctions means it was supposed on that time that men are superior than women. Why? According to the justice of law, according to the ideal social order that was made by the God, according to God, men are superior and men must be in prominent position. Understand? So on that term, what was said by Minhaj as-Siraz, there was another name, the chronicler Minhaj-e-Siraz. What he had said that according to the law, women will be subordinate under men. But Razia, who was belonging from Turkish ruler dynasty, the daughter of Iltutmish, who was the queen, who has got the position of queen, she also ruled 4 years, but he was dethroned after 4 years. Understand? From 4 years, and she has been dethroned from 4 years, from 1236 to 1240, only 4 years. And according to Minhaj Siraz, it is not proper. According to the law of God, he therefore asked in the register of God creation, since her account did not fall under the column of men, how did she gain from all the excellent qualities? How Razia had got all the excellent qualities? Because in the creation, whatever the ideal social order that are made by the God, according to men are in prominent conditions, how Razia had got such a excellent qualities. Understand? See whether in the inscription it was mentioned that Razia was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish, and in the contrast, Rudrama Devi, and afterward one Didda these were the names. These are the name of the lady rulers. They had changed their name. They had changed their name in disguise form. They were in disguise form, being a appearance of a man. They ruled because on that time man was in prominent position. It was supposed man must be on the prominent position. Understand? So in the inscription she pretended that she was a man. Who pretended? Rudrama Devi and Didda also. Rudrama Devi was belonging from Warangal, Andhra Pradesh, and Didda was belonging from Kashmir. Understand? So I hope that you have understood all these subtopics clearly, and we will discuss the next subtopics in the next video. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you.